Hello, welcome. This is the Resilient Rooster. I'm back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today I'm going to be showcasing Starseref. Since Master Rule 4, it's been hard to try to get this engine working since once you make your XZ, your field usually clogs. But with new recent link support, this deck got a lot better, so this is my take on the deck. I try to basically spam out as many cards as I can and just try to draw as much as I can. And hopefully my card advantage will overwhelm my opponent and win from that. So this is my deck list for now. You could probably make changes. The extra deck could be changed a lot since I just put random ones and see if they work. There's going to be some cards that I ran in the replays, but I felt they weren't necessary, and I feel like this deck list is probably the best one. So let's get right into the replays. In this first replay, I'm playing Mekk-Knight's Invoked, and whenever you're playing with this deck, you usually want to have Venus in your hand. Venus is basically the one that starts your 4 monster combo in order to get into Skull Dread. I got Ogred, but this deck has a lot of abilities to float, so I was able to get another 4 monsters and get it that way. Your goal is basically to try to get into your chair and stick combo. So Summoner Monk, it sort of helps with that, and I was able to get 3 level 4s and also to have a way to get the Starseref Scepter into the graveyard. Because once it gets to the graveyard, my Soul Charge is basically live, and I could just go do my stick and chair combo. So I used it to reborn from the graveyard, and that basically starts my stick and chair. And this is basically just keep getting advantage, and I sort of misplayed at this point because I should have activated the Fluffle Bear. That way I could destroy my Fluffle Bear or Toy Vendor instead of my Skull Dread. So I ended up destroying that card because I really wanted just to draw cards in order to go off even more with Venus. So I basically went to like a kind of a weird route, but I wanted to make Curious the Last Warn. That way I could send Eva and basically get a negation in hand. So I basically just keep deck thinning, and I'm only at 13 cards at this point. And I can keep deck thinning with the Toy Vendor engine since you can draw basically 2 cards as a Pot of Greed. And I think I probably should have saved this Monster Reborn since my board was already good before, and I don't want to overextend, but I did have like around 8 cards before I ended my turn, so that's kind of a cool thing to see. It did require a Soul Charge, but look, I started with 40 cards in my deck. I only have 8 left, so there's a lot of power plays with this deck. My opponent, they tried to attack, but I was able to basically use Herald of Orange Light to negate it, and they wasted a lot of cards just to get over my Aura Rolls. I have the Raigeki, and I can pretty much just attack for a game. So I just got ready, and I believe this is enough. If I'm off, then I think it probably wouldn't matter since I could probably make maybe a Firewall and hopefully have a bounce. I probably should have got rid of the Curious because I wasted a lot of resource. In this next game, I'm playing against 6am True Draco, and I believe they get to go first. I did open up pretty well. I had the stick and chair combo. That basically means that if they have a board without any negations, my stick and chair can go over their board and basically destroy their cards and just keep drawing. So sometimes this deck is better going second if you have the stick and chair combo. If you don't, then it's going to be kind of a little bit harder. I believe I only run 2 cards that baits out the negation, which is the Book of Moon and Raigeki. I chose to play Book of Moon over Dark Hole because I feel sometimes it's kind of cool or to play on your opponent's turn. So Book of Moon would hopefully mess up with your opponent's combo pieces, and hopefully you can try to take advantage and time it well to use the Book of Moon. So my opponent, they're kind of spamming the board, and I'm not sure if they're getting anywhere with it, but it's kind of cool to see 6am True Draco pop off. So I think this deck is just mainly for fun. The Starseref engine part, there's a lot of, sometimes you brick, but if you don't brick, this deck is sort of fun to play with. So my opponent didn't have any negations in terms of monster effects, so I was able just to draw cards and just keep summoning my sticks and chairs. So I actually got all my Starseref chairs. I should have summoned it over here next to the Skull Dread, that way I would have another zone here, but I forgot that there was an extra link. So I was able just to take advantage by using my Brilliant Fusion next to the Skull Dread. And I kind of had a cool combo here. I was gonna use Borlo to attack the Skull Dread to steal it. That basically means I could use a special summons effect. So I special summoned my Trick Clown and made the number 41 with my I forgot the card. I believe it was Hat Tricker, yes. I did have a lot of negations based on my Evo with Brilliant Fusion, and I think that this card is kind of necessary to run. That way you have hand traps to play on your opponent's turn. So right now, all I have to do is just basically get a lot of monsters and attack for game. I used the Toy Vendor combo again just to keep drawing, and I believe I had enough after I started to Link Summon. So I got the Skull Dread to draw 4 cards, and I drew into the Raigeki, I believe. So Raigeki basically cleared the board, and I just had to attack for game. As you can see from these replays, this deck relies a lot on your luck based on drawing the cards that you need. So if any of your combo string gets stopped, it's kind of hard to play, but Call from the Grave is now, I believe, legal for the TCG, so this deck should probably run that card to stop some of these hand traps. And you usually draw so many cards, so hopefully you can draw into like one of those cards that prevent your opponent from using hand traps. So I was able to get the Stick Chair combo, and what I would like to say that if you ever get this combo off, you usually just win through just sheer advantage. So I was able to basically get my Ouroboros, and again, I should have used Fluffal Bear. That way I could destroy Toy Vendor and get more advantage. You always want to try to use your resources efficiently, and I didn't do this during this game. That's why I want to just stretch. Always look at your hand before you make your next move, because some of these mistakes could hurt you in the long run. Right now it didn't matter since I had Bagooska, but if I didn't have Bagooska, then it probably would have mattered a lot. So all I had to do is, I believe, make another rank 4 or rank 3, or yeah, rank 4 with 3 monsters, and it's pretty much enough just to win the game. I have a lot of beat stick monsters, and they're boosted with Skull Dread since the 300 boost it sometimes helps. This was one of the earlier games I had with this deck. I believe I was running the Star Seraph Scale, and I don't think that card is worth it in the long run. It's pretty good once you go through your whole engine, but for the most part, I would just take it out. There's a lot better cards to run, cards that can help your consistency. I also wasn't running a lot of rank 4s that had 3 monsters, and I basically replaced some of them to get the extra Ouroboros, because sometimes you can go through 2 Ouroboros in one turn. I'm not sure if it's hard once per turn, or is it once per turn per monster. So right now I was able to get my stick to the graveyard, that way I could Monster Reborn and basically start off my combo. And whenever you get your Star Seraph combo, you usually win a lot of the games, since you just draw so much cards, and hopefully you draw into cards that can stop your opponent's next turn. Just like the Herald of Orange Light that I run, because I feel it's necessary to run hand trap still, just to stop your opponent from getting over your board. My opponent, they didn't really have a good hand, so that kind of helped the process. When you draw with this deck, you draw like a lot of your answer. That's why I keep having Raigeki in most of my hands, or Book of Moon. And all I have to do is just keep it simple and just attack. When I was playing this deck, there was some hands where I wasn't able to get my Stick Chair combo off, but if I did survive the next turn, I usually was able to get it off and just win the game from there. But depending on the different types of decks that you face, things could be different, right? I would say that if you're playing against some meta deck, you usually don't have a turn, so this deck probably would lose to most meta decks. But for like the casual things, it's pretty fun. You're able just to keep drawing cards, and I really like decks that keep drawing cards, since it makes the deck like feel fast. The deck, or like the format, is already quick, but it's always cool just to see your deck thin like rapidly. So I was able to basically get rid of a lot of the cards that couldn't be destroyed by battle, like I believe it was Saber-Tooth Tiger. And all I have to do is just make Borderload Dragon, and I feel Borderload Dragon is kind of a hard thing for Fluffals to get over, since you can decrease their monster by 500 and you're not targeted. You can't be targeted, so that helps a lot. Because I think they're Tiger targets. So as long as I'm safe by card effects, I don't know if Fluffals has a way to get over Borderload Dragon. They could attack it with their high attack, but I always have the ability to reduce by 500, and that 500 is a lot. I drew into all my Mystical Shine Ball, so like I said, when you're playing a lot of vanilla, sometimes you just draw them, and that could hurt you the game. Fortunately for me, I was in an advantage, so it didn't matter that much. I think there was a point where I could have summoned my Shine Ball and attacked for a game. I'm not sure if it was this duel or if it was another duel. So they made their Saber-Tooth Tiger, and I think all they have to do is basically hopefully that I can't destroy my battle. Because right now I can't destroy my battle, but I can always use Borolo just to take it. And I think that's the weakness of Fluffles. There's so many cards that basically can get over card effects where they can't be destroyed by battle. So I believe here, yeah, I should have summoned a Shine Ball. That way I could have just attacked for a game. But I don't think it matters since my opponent, they're sort of running out of fusion. I think they went through all their polys. They tried to use the Tiger to get over my stuff. And I kind of made a misplay. I should have just activated my Jar of Avarice. That way when they Ash Blossom, I would have been able just to chain my Herald to block it. They couldn't target my monster since they were both untargetable. So again, this is the final deck list. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. If you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content, please click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and have a great day.